All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So our objective for today is that students will be able to apply the rules of exponents to perform operations with numbers expressed in scientific notation. So that work that we were doing last week with exponents is going to come in handy today once we start actually with multiplying numbers that are written in scientific notation. So just a real quick review, right? Remember that we use scientific notation to express numbers that are extremely large and also numbers that are extremely small. So for example, if you're talking about the mass of the planet Earth, that's a very big number, right? There's a lot of zeros there, and if you were typing it out, there's a good chance that you could end up missing some of the zeros if you weren't careful. So in situations like that, we use scientific notation. So this very long number with all those zeros turns into this much smaller number, which is easier to remember, easier to write. So if you wanted to just kind of round it a little bit to make it easier, instead of saying 5.9736, you could say that number is close to 6, and then replacing 5.9736 with 6 gives us 6 times 10 to the 24th. This times 10 to the 24th really just means like we're taking the number 6 and we're adding 24 zeros onto the end of it. So that's what the scientific notation looks like. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing some math with numbers that are expressed in scientific notation. So there's just a couple of rules that you have to know when you're doing it. So we're going to start by looking at the example over here. It says 4 multiplied by 2.3 times 10 to the power of 7. So in this example here, when you're multiplying, you have to know what numbers to multiply in order to do this right. I'm not going to multiply the power part, the 10 to the 23rd times the 4. I only need to multiply the 4 with the 2.3. It's that simple. And then I'm just going to tack at the end of it this exponent onto it. So really what I'm doing is I'm kind of just regrouping and putting the 4 multiplied by the 2.3. And then I'm just going to add that exponent onto the end of it, right? And you guys all know how to multiply an integer with a decimal. All I actually need to do is just throw that into a calculator. So I'm going to pull up your Desmos Scientific Calculator, which you have bookmarked. And I'm just going to put 4 multiplied by 2.3, see what that spits out. 4 times 2.3, 9.2. So my end result is just going to be 9.2 times 10 to the 23rd. That's simple, right? So you're going to practice that for the next couple of cases here. Again, all you need to do is multiply together the numbers and then add that exponent piece onto the end, right? If you don't know how I'm generating this like times 10 to the 15th power, just copy it and paste it. That'll be the easiest way to do it, or I can explain it during the Zoom session. Now, pause the video before you move on to the next part. All right, now that you're done with that first part, the second situation is when you're actually multiplying together two numbers that are written in scientific notation, right? So before it was just something like, 3.4 times this part. But now I have a number in scientific notation times another number in scientific notation. So we're going to approach this similarly, but we have to do something different a little bit towards the end, and I have some rules at the bottom to show you here. So first step, it says group the numbers together, right? When I'm saying numbers, I mean the parts that don't have the powers. So in this case here, I've got the 3.4, I've got the 2.5. So what I'm going to do first is multiply those two parts together. So let me just rearrange it so I have 3.4 times 2.5. And all of that is getting multiplied by, now I need to group the powers together. So these pieces with the exponent. So I have a 10 to the 23rd power multiplied by, oops, that's not inside. All right, 10 to the 23rd power multiplied by 10 to the 5th power. Right now, I'm going to proceed. Step 3 says multiply the numbers. So let's just multiply these first two things together, see what I get. 3.4 times 2.5 gives me 8.5. So now I've got 8.5 multiplied by, I'm going to have to multiply these guys together, right? Now, if you remember what we did last week with the rules of exponents, this is where the product rule comes in handy. So remember, if you have the base being the same, it tells me I need to add the exponents together. So over here, the base is going to stay the same. The base in this case is going to remain 10, and my exponent is going to be 23 plus 5, or 28, right? And that's it. So again, what I did here is I multiplied the number parts together. So 3.4 times 2.5. I multiplied the power parts, the pieces with the exponents together, which just requires adding the exponents, and then I just stick them together with the multiplication sign. Now I have a number in scientific notation, okay? So you're gonna practice that on the next page. There's 4 questions. If you finish early, go ahead and try the push yourself section where I go over just some specifics about scientific notation, all right? If you have any questions, the Zoom session will be available, all right? I will see you there.